Hello everyone, my name is Michelle. Welcome to my channel. So today we're going to solve another questions in the database category. The number is 197. The name is rising temperature. It is an easy question, so that will not be that difficult. So first, let's read the description of this problem. It gives us a table which is named as weather, and it lets us to write a SQL query to find all dates IDs with higher temperature compared to its previous dates, which means it's yesterday's date. So we have this example of the table here, and according to this table, we could get this kind of output. We only have one column for output, which is ID. And for ID, we have 2 and 4. We could see that for ID 2 and ID 4, both of them actually have a higher temperature compared to the previous date. So it just meets the requirement of the problem. So before we directly writing the solutions of this problem, we have to think in two things. The first one is what kind of statement we need for this kind of output. So we actually have two statements. The first one is we have to compare the date. We wish the date is actually just one day before the yesterday, and we wish the temperature is higher than the yesterday's temperature. So the date difference is actually 1. So that just come out to the next thing we need to thinking about, which is how do we compare the date. So there is a function called dateDiff. So for these functions, we actually could compare different dates according to this table. So we put the day 1 here and then day 2 here. So the dateDiff function will give us the difference between these two dates, like how many days difference between these two dates. So if the relationship between these two dates are the current date and the yesterday, so the difference actually is 1. So one of the statements we're going to use within our selection functions is actually we have to put the date difference and make it equals to 1. Okay, so let's start to write this SQL query. So as what we did before, we first put the select here, and then we should from one of the tables. So we only have one particular table, so we'll put the weather here. So weather is the name of this table, and then we want to rename it as table 1. Since we are going to compare this table to itself, so we actually need to use the join function. So the next question is what kind of join function we're going to use. Are we going to use a left join, the right join, or inner join, even the out join? So for this problem in particular, we're going to use the function of the inner join because we only need to select the select the IDs which are just following the combined statement. So we're going to put the inner join here, and we're going to inner join itself. So we'll put the weather here and rename it as table 2. And the statement is what we just talked earlier. So the first one is the temperature have to be larger than the previous date. So the table 1's temperature actually have to be larger than the table 2's temperature. And the second condition is we have to use the dateDiff function, and we have to compare the record date. So the first one is the table 1's record date, and the second one is table 2's record date. And the difference we're going to use is 1 because the yesterday is actually only 1 day difference between current date. And we have to add another where statement. Why? Because even though we could find the date difference is 1, but we have to know which is the current date and which is the yesterday. So for here, what we're going to do is we're going to put table 1's record date is larger than table 2's record date. According to our statement, we actually put the table 1 as the current date and the table 2 as yesterday's records. So in this scenario, we are going to select the table 1's ID right? Because we're going to put the current IDs as a output. So if we choose the larger to the smaller, then we're going to put the table 2's ID here because we have to meet the requirement of this description. And at the very end, do not forget to put the semicolon here. And I think that's all for this solution. Let's submit our solutions and submit our SQL query. We can find that the runtime is around like 340 milliseconds. It's faster than around like 3% of the overall online submissions. And if you want, you can just submit again, and normally it will just a little bit improve compared to the previous submissions. This question is actually quite simple compared to others. The only thing we need to learn from this particular question is this diff function, which we could compare the different dates. Besides that, I think you just need to clear your solutions and make it very logically. I think for SQL questions, we're not going to focus on the time complexity or the space complexity. What we are going to focus on is the logic behind the solution. You have to clearly show to the employers or the interviewers that your logic or your clues how to solve this problem step by step. Otherwise, I think even though you could meet the final answers, it's very hard to explain yourself. And I think that's all for this question. Thank you so much to just watch my videos. I wish you could like it, and please subscribe my channel and recommend my channel to your friends. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow.